Hello, my fellow dudes. Yeah, welcome to this new 18th Corner of Randomness video series. It's going to be titled, I think, All Roads Lead to Nijmegen. Nijmegen, or more accurately. I think I will be explaining its origins later. I just get straight into whatever the fuck I'm supposed to talk about. And today, what I'm supposed to talk about in this video, it's this article. It's this article from transformernews.ai titled "The Left is Missing Out on AI," and it's written by Dan Kagan-Kans. I think it's pronounced I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. Anyways, it was published on February 16, 2026, and it reached public attention the next day, I think, on February 17, when some person wrote a post on Blue Sky praising it, and people started shitting on the article. I think that's what happened on the left is missing out on AI. Where is it? Where is it? I couldn't find it. I could not find it. I apologize. Maybe it's in my saves. Maybe. Don't know. I'll check. I'm kind of stupid. I may or may not have found it. I may or may not have found it. Oh wait, okay. Breakman. And then scroll down. And then, okay, we have found it. So this guy named Rutger Bregman, I hope I pronounced that right. He writes on Blue Sky, absolutely brilliant piece about the left's total blindness on AI. Their dismissal of AI risks mirrors how climate deniers treat CO2. We probably get out of nastiness for this on Blue Sky, but I guess that's part of the same problem. And then he links to the article. And the chain of events, I guess, is that Bregman writes this, and then Olivia Guest sees it, and then Olivia Guest sees it and writes about it, I guess, and that brings Dwayne Monroe's attention, and Dwayne Monroe makes a video about it titled "The Left is Missing Out on AI," a weird response. And then as I see the video, and now I'm recording this video, I guess that's the chain of events. Okay, so where the fuck was I? Okay, fuck. I'm reading this. I'm reading this article, man. I'm reading, um, not all of it, and not like I'm not reading all of it out loud. I mean, uh, I like read it not like completely, and I just like finish it in the video, I guess. Okay, so it starts with so like it has like multiple parts, and each part has like a different title, and the first part is titled application. Let me see what it means. An act of abdicating or renouncing the throne. And the second meaning is fail to fulfill a responsibility or duty. Okay. The first paragraph is somehow all of the interesting energy for discussions about the long range future of humanity is concentrated on the right, wrote Joshua Akiam, head of mission alignment at OpenAI, on X last year. The left has completely abdicated their role in this discussion. A decade from now, this will be understood on the left to have been a generational mistake. So, you fellows you heard me mention Dwayne Monroe. Dwayne Monroe, in his video, he talks about like how this article gives too much space, too much platform to corporate salesmen. And I think the analogy he makes is that many scientists say that climate change is real, but let's hear from ExxonMobil. It's that sort of thing. And I think some of you fellows might be wondering, well, I mean, is it? I don't think it's wrong to hear from all sides of the story. Yeah, sure, but it's like a very naive approach to things. Especially when we have like a lot of proof on something. I'm not saying that you shouldn't report on what OpenAI or Meta or Microsoft or whatever AI company executive says, please do it. Keep your fans close, keep your enemies closer. You have to know your enemy. But in a debate, I'm not sure where I heard this from, but basically, so many scientists have proven that climate change is real, but there are still some climate change deniers, but there are very, very, very small portion of the world. But debate channels as such, one might argue Julebi might be the problem, but I guess not Julebi. I'm not going to name names. They tend to like bring one person from this huge group of scientists that have proven climate change is real, and then one person from like the very small minority of climate change deniers. And what happens is that and the climate change scientists get like very underrepresented. I think that's the right word. And the deniers get overrepresented. They while like the odds are like odds like while the scientists overpower deniers 10-1. Let's say the debate makes it look like it's a 1-1 battle. Why no, that's not really the case. Anyways, where was I? And this person Kagan-Kans, he platforms these people a lot. um, around like this article, and like leaves out, if not downplays this AI skeptic researchers, namely Emily Bender, a linguist and like an AI researcher that I deeply respect. She wrote that stochastic parrot paper with Timothy Gabriel, and she also wrote the book The AI Con with Alex Hanna, and she also has a podcast also with Alex Hanna. I read the icon. I love it so much. Honestly, like she's like a really cool person, and you should like look through her work, read her book. Like listen to her podcast. Very cool. She and her friends are, this person, Dan Kagan-Kans, completely like undermines, or if that's the right word for it, and it sucks, but I will get to that now. We're in the very first part of the article. There is this one paragraph. In fact, I have noted it down to my commonplace book. As a movement, it appears the left has not been willing to engage seriously with AI, despite its potential to affect the lives and livelihoods of billions of people in ways that will normally make it just the kind of threat and opportunity left politics will concern itself with. Well, here's what I wrote down into my commonplace book. I am pretty sure that the left is quite concerned about AI, especially Gabriel et Alita, but historically, Gabriel got dismissed a lot. Timothy Gabriel, Emily Bender, Alex Hanna, Olivia Guest, Isvan Rui, Dwayne Monroe, Felian Armas, Mehdi Prasad, those names, on the left, they're on the left, so far I know, and they're all AI skeptics, and they talk heavily about the dangers of AI, but not existential risk. Oh, by the way, I forgot Emil Torres. I'm sorry, I forgot Emil Torres. And Meg Mitchell too. Who else? I name whenever like I remember. So these people are all on the left, and they talk heavily about AI and its risks. And this article, it makes me wonder if Dan Kagan-Kans is actually like a test creel, a fucking test creel. A test creel is an acronym, and for like a group of ideologies. Test creel. Let me show you actually. Okay, so here is the Dyer Institute page about it, the test creel bundle. Here it is, and as I said before, it's an acronym for a group of ideologies, namely it's transhumanism, extropianism, singularitarianism, cosmism, rationalism, effective altruism, and long-termism. And what these ideologies have in common, so far I know, is that they have this vision of tech, and specifically tech, accelerating human development, and humans will go into space and live in space, and it's going to be an utopia of sorts, and that no, not any other thing is worthier than achieving this goal of humans living in space with technology, um, and even like your own humanity is less important than this goal. Uh, and they have like a history of like heavily like to putting too much worth on logic and like thinking. Well, not saying that they're not important, but those guys like completely like dismiss things like emotion and instinct and experiences, feelings, and um and I'm talking as if like their logic and such isn't isn't flawed. It's actually like really flawed, and overall just heavily acting on rationality. It tends to be not enough. And also, probably the most important thing, it's heavily rooted in white supremacy and eugenics. Yeah, that's the thing. And test creates AI risks that are important to test creates tend to be things like existential risk, and existential risk is like um you know AI is going to achieve consciousness and it's going to kill all humans. And maybe some of my audience, some of you fellows might have this thought. You might have this thought. I mean, I'm not going to judge you heavily for having it, considering that it's in a lot of science fiction and popular science. Propaganda is pretty hard to root out from your brain. So I'm not going to judge you. But yeah. It's actually quite risky thought. It's a quite risky ideology because number one, yes, you eventually like ignore like your own humanity and like sacrifice everything more than what you like would have sacrificing just for this very, very, very low chance of AI becoming sentient and destroying all humans. But also, I think Badr and Hannah talked about it in their book. It tends to ignore actual causes of AI. And I think on one of the instances is, you guys know Geoffrey Hinton. He is very, very, very, very, very, very, very, very, very, very, very concerned about existential risk from artificial intelligence. But he dismissed Timnit Gebru. Yeah, he dismissed Timnit. Hold on. Hinton, Timnit Gebru. Let me find it. Let me find it. Yeah, like he dismissed Gabriel and said that the problems Gabriel is occupied with aren't very important, and it's like deeply dehumanizing. In my opinion, it's deeply dehumanizing of um data workers, of like workers that have to like mess with AI and are like often underpaid. um People who face discrimination in healthcare because of AI, people who are suffering from AI psychosis, people who are unable to access quality education because of AI, etc., etc. That is where it can lead to. Now, where the fuck was I? Sorry, I keep like I keep going off the rails. I keep going off the rails. I don't know why, what is wrong with me, but also I think since we're talking about Geoffrey Hinton, I think I am allowed to voice this opinion of mine. Geoffrey Hinton is slowly becoming the Anglo-Canadian Celal Şengör, and no, I will not elaborate. Okay, fine, I will elaborate. Basically, Celal Şengör is someone who is kind of respected as a geologist. I think his profession is, but he is a bit too much of a know-it-all, and uh, he like, what do you call it, gets his nose into topics he has little expertise and knowledge about. And not only that, he tends to like not update his knowledge and thinks that things he has learned in like the past century applies to the current day. So yeah, and people like still unreliably listen to him. And yeah, and Geoffrey Hinton is like kind of, yeah, he is kind of a Celal Şengör in that sense. Sure, he is respected in the field of deep learning. Yeah, but with AI risks, I think he is not very knowledgeable about. I argue, he tends to get his nose too much on that, and he dismisses other people who had worked years in AI ethics. Timid Gabriel, and yeah, this guy's like just like yapping. That's why I think he is becoming the Anglo-Canadian Celal Şengör. That's, yeah, okay. Back to the fucking topic. Now the article later talks about like the common criticism of AI, that of it's a fancy word predictor. Let me read you. Oh, okay, here we go. Take another high-profile voice associated with the left, at least when it comes to tech. Cory Doctorow, one of the world's most esteemed sci-fi and technology writers. In December, Doctorow published the text of a speech given to the University of Washington called The Reverse Center's Guide to Criticizing AI. His purpose was to explain what I think is going on with this AI bubble and sort out the bullshit from the material reality. At its heart is the claim that AI is just a word guessing program because all it does is calculate the most probable word to go next. In case you missed the point, Doctor repeated it elsewhere in plainer words. AI is merely a spicy autocomplete machine. This idea that large language models merely produce statistically plausible word sequences based on training data without having any idea about what the words refer to has become the baseline across much of the left intellectual landscape. Thanks to it, fundamental questions about AI's capabilities now and in the future are considered settled. And he goes on, Kagan-Kans, he goes on to give examples from many leftist media that's like present this argument, and then like he says that as if many left ideas these days, the autocomplete view of AI is a popular adaptation of the views held by critical academics. People who follow AI closely will know this, though they may not know how deeply embedded in left discourse in particular these views have become. No, I'm going to say something. And I have a theory, and the theory is that what you are most concerned about, like AI tends to change according to like What? Hmm. Like there are like numerous echoes around like problems with AI. The test script is one echo. It gives a lot of importance to existential risk. The critical AI movement. I'm saying that it. I think it's what it is one way and Olivia Guest call it. Um, the critical AI equal. They give more importance to this fancy work predictor and capitalistic exploitation under AI and um, the right the right tends to just like take it at face value, and also some echoes or also some like subsets of liberalism also likes AI too much, and obviously corporationists. Maybe like one exception of corporations. Okay, never mind. He's not an exception. So yeah, it tends to change. Maybe among the right in the religious fundamentalists, maybe some of those religious fundamentalists may be really concerned about humans trying to give a soul to inanimate objects, but maybe that's too much of a strong man. If you have seen any religious fundamentalists making such arguments and standing against AI, do let me know. I'm wondering. Yeah, okay, so where was I? Mm. So the article provides a quote. If you take the phrase artificial intelligence in a sentence like does AI understand or can AI help us make better decisions, and replace it with mathematics or salami, an acronym for systematic approaches to learning algorithms and machine inferences, it's immediately obvious how ridiculous it is. Does the salami understand? The above is from Emily Bender, a University of Washington computational linguist, and the person probably most responsible for the autocomplete view and its adoption in left circles, except she gives it another name, the stochastic parrot hypothesis, which explains the impression of intelligence that LLMs offer in the immediately graspable image of a bird that talks but does not know anything. This was a stroke of mimetic genius. The 2021 paper it was coined for, written by Bender with Timothy Gabriel, Angelina McMillan-Major, and Margaret Mitchell, has been cited around 8,000 times. From there, it's equal to The Nation and N+1 and Blue Sky, sometimes without attribution. Yeah, here is this fellow, Emily Bender. Okay, so she has joined the game. She has joined the chat. I want to say something in the AI con. There's like Bender and Hannah give more names for AI aside mathematics and salami, but I can't remember that. But I do remember that mathematics was my favorite one. I don't know, mathematics. It's catchy, alright. It's catchy. Like, I don't know what. I should have warned you in the beginning. This video is it features the ramblings of a quite impressionable 18-year-old computer engineering undergraduate who is chronically online, and yeah, I should have warned you on that. I'm definitely not as well read as Bender or Anna or Guest or Madri or Monroe or all of those people. I'm definitely not. They have lived many more years on Earth than I have, and they have read more literature than I have, and they also like finished school and shit. I'm like an undergraduate. I'm like a university student. I haven't gotten my bachelor's yet, so I'm hardballing it with like brain rot and what those people say low key. Anyways, so there is this another pair which I noted to my commonplace book and wrote my like comment on it, and the paragraph is that view the stochastic parrot approach, he means, takes next token prediction, the technical process at the heart of large language models, and makes it sound like a simple thing. So simple it's deflating. And taken in isolation, the next token prediction is a relatively simple process. Do some math to predict and then output what word is likely to come next, given everything that's come before it, based on the huge amounts of human writing the system has trained on. But when that operation is done millions and billions and trillions of times, as it is when these models are trained, suddenly the simple next token isn't so simple anymore. Instead, a web of associations grows so complex and so clearly productive, it reminds us of Stalin's apocryphal comment that quantity has a quality all of its own. All its own. What I noted in my commonplace book is that the scaling argument really, yeah, the scaling argument, scale is all you need. They argue that scaling, or basically putting in more data to these large language models, is the path to get to AGI. And one of the probably the most well-known critic of scaling is Gary Marcus. Now I know Gary Marcus has problems. He's an LLM skeptic, sure. And he has some good work on it, and he has done studies on it. I think he, what was his, his field of study was like, oh, okay, his field of study was neuroscience, so like he is not all unfamiliar with things, but he has problems. He is actually one of the test career bundle. He is an AI booster, and he dismissed him with Gabriel. So yeah, that's my problems with him. But he is, makes pretty good points about how scaling isn't enough. There is this article of his in Nautilus called "Deep Learning is Hitting a Wall," and he talks about that. He wrote it back in 2022. Okay, so Marcus writes, there are serious holes in the scaling argument. To begin with, the measures that have scaled have not captured what we desperately need to improve: genuine comprehension. Insiders have long known that one of the biggest problems in AI research is the tests, quote-unquote benchmarks, that we use to evaluate AI systems. The well-known Turing test, aimed to measure genuine intelligence, turns out to be easily gained by chatbots that act paranoid or uncooperative. Scaling the measures Kaplan and his OpenAI colleagues looked at about predicting words in a sentence is now tantamount to the kind of deep comprehension true AI will require. All roads lead to stochastic parrots, I guess. Kind of like, yeah. You can like scale. You can read as many books as you write, but as long as you don't understand it, it doesn't worth shit. That's pretty much what it is. Yeah. Anyways, where was I? Also, like, the quantity tends to not make things complex. You know, for example, a brick house. Sure, there is like the filling you put between the bricks and all, and like the architecture and like the design of it, but you can't argue that the house is like very is made of like this very special magical material just because it has like thousands and millions of like one material in it. Yeah, it's fucking brick. It's fucking brick. It's a brick house. No need to exaggerate the brick. La la la la la la la la la la la la la la la la la. Oh, I just read something in the article that's low key um diabolical, dare I say. What it says is, yet the properties of scale do not often enter the left conversation. That's because it has already been debunked, nor do several other factors. Factors such as the likelihood that training a system to predict across millions of different cases forces it to build representations of the world that then, even if you want to reserve the word understanding for beings that walk around talking out of mouths, produce outputs that look out like understanding, or that reserving words like understanding for humans depends on eluding the fact that nobody agrees on what it or intelligence or meaning actually mean, and that if you're arguing for human uniqueness, you need to show that the trillions of neuron connections in the brain aren't also doing next token prediction or something like it. um i think this I think this is the dehumanization that is like being alleged is rampant around test creel circles, but I might be wrong, low key. Um, here's something also kind of diabolical. Given all this, the fraction of meaning in the autocomplete view of current AI is alarmingly akin to the random, not always incorrect observations about temperature cycles conservatives used to throw around in debates about climate change. In both cases, a debatable description of mechanism is mistaken for proof of insignificance. CO2 makes up only 0.04% of the atmosphere, which sounds much too little for it to drive global warming. Until you learn CO2's molecular structure lets it absorb infrared radiation in ways nitrogen and oxygen can't. Similarly, AI just predicts the next token. Sounds deflating until you consider what predicting the next token involves and start to ask if there is really such a difference between predicting and learning. I'm pretty sure. Like all these people I listed in the beginning have like studies on it. I suggest Dan Kagan-Kans. You should go look into them. You should go look into them. Really, engage yourself with some literature. Um, I also need to engage with myself with some literature. Also, there's like new shit coming out every once in a while. There's new shit. You gotta keep track of that as well. And I might be wrong, and I don't know where I heard this, but I heard that we don't use the word global warming as much, and we say climate change more because scientists have like realized that like this adverse effect of greenhouse gases, etc., doesn't show up as just warmer temperatures, but also like weird weather, such as I'm in the Anti-Youth Council, and in last month's meeting there was this climate scientist who worked at the Antalya Metropolitan Municipality, and she visited us and gave us a speech mostly about COP31, which is going to be hosted here in Antalya. But also like she talked about how this Mediterranean region, which includes Antalya, Turkey, it's one of the most affected regions, one of the regions most affected from climate change. And you see, in Antalya, we have been getting heavy rain. Not right now, it's pretty clear in the last couple of days, but a week before or 2 weeks before, it was pouring down. And I think in the western parts of the province, there were straight up floods. And yeah, she said that that's why these floods kept happening. It's because we are in a region that is heavily affected by climate change. Maybe that's why they're doing COP31 in Antalya. Maybe. Am I going to COP31? I don't know. I probably will. Under like the youth council, I'm just going to like spy on people. Not spy on people. I'm just like observe people, and the ruling class just fucking around. I think, but at least they're like revamping the roads. They're revamping Yüzyıl Boulevard and such. I guess that's like the one good thing that comes out of it. Antalya getting like an infrastructure upgrade. More infrastructure upgrades. I mean, there were sometimes roads like way before COP31 Antalya was like announced. They revamped the pavements in like Uncalı Avenue. Lately they have been doing this in Chile, and said that they're doing it because COP31 is going to be here. I guess maybe that's like the one cool thing we get. Sometimes I think even when COP31 was going to be done here, hosted here, they will do it anyway. Anyways, where was I? Oh, the article continues. Indeed, it's a little disturbing how closely this discourse follows climate debate patterns set down 20 years ago by the right. Either a man-made phenomenon isn't happening, or if it is, it's not important. The common words in those articles just, simply, only are there because the argument doesn't stand up without them. What I'm going to say. What I'm going to say. This might, this does not really apply to the left, because I have seen those AI critic leftist researchers, they do give importance to AI and its harms. This would apply to Jan LeCun, no doubt. I think this would apply to him. He's like, dare I say, um, most likely because of the corporate culture he's been involved in. He worked at Meta as like chief AI scientist for many years. I think he left very recently at July 2025. He's in like this corporate environment for years and years and years, and this has this has made him desensitize about the risks of AI, not existential risks, but like exploitation. And He tends to argue that since LLMs are like basic word predictors, I think common with the leftist equal and the LeCun corporatist equal. But unlike the left AI critical AI equal, LeCun would argue that there is nothing to worry about regulation wise or like existential risk wise, etc., etc. And it's too much optimism at best, and straight up lying for corporate profits at worst. I think Timid Gemru once said that LeCun lied about like Facebook AI content regulation being good, and that led to a genocide in Rohingya. I think there was something like that. Maybe that's me being too naive, but since LeCun has now left Meta, and he's like, I think he's going to like fund his own startup. I think he's going to have some opportunities to get out of this very corporate wild west, maybe, I don't know what it's called, mindset, and maybe start seeing that AI can inherently have risks and exploitation. He is not that evil. I believe in him. Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, I hope that happens. I hope he realizes that, and best of luck, I guess. Anyways, now back to the topic. Um, nah, nah, nah, nah, nah, nah. Okay, so what is it? What is it? Application is over, and now we have arrived to the con part 2 or so. God damn it, how long is this shit? How long? Okay, we are like a bit um we're getting closer to the middle mark, I guess. The con. The article says, as task for conservatives and climate change, dismissing a phenomenon that is already showing evidence of significant impact on the world puts a fair amount of epistemic stress on the people who do it. If AI is just spicy autocomplete, then what's responsible for the current frenzy of attention? Autocorrect could explain away pre-ChatGPT interest levels without too much trouble, but it doesn't come close to accounting for the trillions, now invested, the data centers appearing around every corner, or the daily reports of AI automating task after task. Bro, this isn't even like an argument you can like make against like Jan LeCun. Jan LeCun is like more like Jan LeCun's shit is more like sensible than this. Jan LeCun catching strays. Hold up, I think this reminds me of Stava. Hold up, let me just put this shit out real quick. Comments. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. So there is this guy. I'm going to name names, okay? There's this guy named Robert Wright. He has this podcast called Non-Zero, and this guy, from what I know, he's like very pro AI, and he invites Emily Bender and Alex Hanna to his podcast, alright? And turns out like originally he invited these two people as like I just want to talk, but turns out that wasn't really the case, and he just like wanted to debate them and accumulate them and stuff. And I guess one of the things that went around this podcast is that this guy, or maybe it's the comments, but I know it's this podcast is somehow being involved, or I'm just like confusing one incident with another, but it was totally on the internet. Well, I have heard, maybe it's the podcast guy, maybe it's the comments, or maybe it's like someone else entirely, that they have invalidating Bender and Hannah and overall the leftist critical AI equal by saying that well, you say that ChatGPT is just fancy autocomplete, but you also say that you shouldn't develop it because it's too risky and harmful, and they think it's contradictory, but it's actually not. It's sure it's like very incapable and behind in various tasks, but what the corporations really want is to replace their workforce with something they can exploit easily and not pay. And that's enough. Sure, the work might be shitty, but at least they don't get to pay for it, and they can save up for another yacht, or another private island, or another dinner with Jeffrey Epstein, and the dinner has like children on it. Seriously, like there's like cannibalism in Epstein Island that went on. I think it's in a recent Epstein Files drop. Yeah, that's like the shit they're going to do. Replacing the entire workforce with something made just to join the billionaire pedophile cabal or something. Yeah, that's what is going on. The work being shitty is very important enough for corporates to start replacing their workforce for the sake of accumulating more wealth, if you get what I mean. By the way, do not check that one non-zero podcast episode with Emily Bender and Alex Hanna. Do not check the comments on that one. The comments section is fucking diabolical, and it's going to kill some of your brain cells. Do not do it. One of the worst mistakes of my life. one of the worst mistakes of my life. There's like only like the few of us, uh, the few of us that like they're leaving sport comments for Bandar and Hana. Adolfo Neto, I think it's Adolfo. Yeah, Adolfo Neto. His name is. He left a sport comment. I left a sport comment. Some other guy left a sport comment, and the rest of these people, shit, uh, down low hanging fruit like shit going on there. Varying from misgendering Alexandra, who is a trans woman, and just calling them like just invalidating their achievements, saying that they were so rude or insufferable, basically, tone policing them overall, and just rude, and people just like me, well, shit, just attacking them because they know that they don't have good arguments against them, so they're just like attacking their tone and stuff. Bender and Anna went through a lot due to that fucking guy. Fuck you, Robert Wright. Fuck you. Anyway, so where was I? Oh my fucking god. They say name drops the AI account. They say name drops that book. That book by Bandar and Anna I talked about a couple times in this video. The name drops it. This fucking Kagan-Kans, he talks about like people saying that AI is a con, Bandar and Anna, and also what's that guys, Doctoral, those guys. He talks about that. Oh, he's low key. He's low key something shitty. He's a low key shitty paragraph. Okay. I'm going to read that shit in wall. Okay, so Kagan-Kans writes, another piece of framing is therefore needed to shore the argument up. What's responsible for the AI frenzy? False consciousness and trickery. Artificial intelligence, if we're being frank, is a con, a bill of goods you are being sold to line someone's pockets. Write Manuel and Alexandra in their book The AI Con, published in 2025 to grateful reviews in literary and intellectual quarters. In this view, the money and attention flowing into AI aren't reflections of anything real, they're simply the con in action. This belief is echoed in Doctor's essay. To him, tech CEOs are hucksters trying to Ponzi in more investment. The primary goal is to keep the market convinced that your company will continue to grow and to remain convinced until the next bubble comes along, he writes. Of course, the 5 to 10 times annual increase in AI lab revenues that ChatGPT was the most rapidly adopted consumer technology in history, that consumer is another word for ordinary person, not tycoon, nowhere do these facts enter the picture. What's left is a view of capitalism not as a system that can unfairly externalize harm or as a negative system altogether, but essentially a fake one. I'm going to say, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. See what I did there? Kagan-Kans, but I think that's like part of the tech bubble thingy. It's part of it. You increasing investments, mass adoption, etc., just to like squeeze in more profits. Also, like the AI honeymoon is like, I think it's over. People have realized how harmful that shit is now. Here's another paragraph, he continues. This impression is enhanced by the bizarre way to the issue of AI taking human jobs comes up in these discussions. The left hates tech CEOs and knows they're out to get the ordinary worker, but the left also thinks the CEOs are idiots and can't actually pull it off. Thus, doctoral claims bosses are mass firing productive workers and replacing them with janky AI, and when the janky AI is gone, no one will be able to find and rehire most of those workers. We're going to go from dysfunctional AI systems to nothing. Or, in Ben Randomness' words, AI is not going to replace your job, but it will make your job a lot shittier. The picture is practically cubist. Management is trying to fill your role with something that's not real and can't do it. Oh, that's it really fucking shitty ass argument I talked about like 3 months ago or something. That's my fucking god. Are we dead ass? Are we dead ass right now? Fucking shit. Man, I think glad I didn't overreact. Glad I didn't. I think I need a fucking break. This shit pissed me off. I'm going to eat some hardball and some noodles and enjoy life. Those Kagan-Kans even touch grass. Those even touch grass. I doubt so. At least I touch some grass. I also love like going outside, riding buses and night trains. I think there might be a green bear shortage in Haribo bears. I don't know why. But there has been a shortage of green recently. Are they struggling to find apples or apple favorite? Maybe right now it's citrus season, so there's like more oranges and yellows. Orange and lemon. By the way, do make sure to watch the Dwayne Monroe's video. His video is the video that motivated me to make this, and he overall makes great points. He has this rubric. So far I remember, basically he asks, does this article define the right? Does this article define the left? Can the article give examples? And some fourth thing, I forgot. All of these four questions had like a no answer, I think. You know, Kagan-Kans could also be enjoying the simple joy of eating gummy candy, but instead of that, he wrote this abomination. This one's the last one. But I'm not in the bag, but you know, I want to stop after eating this one. Okay. Okay, I think we're back. Do I have to repeat this one? I could summarize it. When I'm tech CEOs, they don't do anything to put money into their pockets, and that includes replacing workers with a less productive and shittier like alternative. Sure, it's shitty, but you know, it saves you money, so they do it. I think Dwayne Monroe, you know, points out like how just like pro corporate, dare I say, this article is like trust Kagan-Kans trust corporations too much for this one, and I guess that might be the case. Kagan-Kans is at the base case a bit too naive about tech CEOs and overall higher ups in tech companies. He thinks that they believe in job security and they believe in their workers and they won't fire them for the sake of using money and like replace them with like a shittier alternative. They believe that they're telling the truth. But the thing is, it's also something that I'm struggling with. Companies often lie. They lie a lot. They tell lies a lot. And it's best that you don't take anything they say seriously, and especially from CEOs. Assume malintention first. Unfortunately, that's how we will survive the modern day. Yeah, that's how you survive it. I think you're better off learning this shit. You know, just in case, I'm doing this for your own good, okay? Just in case, you know, your boss fires you or something, you know, gotta be prepared, okay? I'm a fucking 18-year-old undergraduate. Anyways. Anyway, so new chapter conveniently. I think we're getting closer to the midway. Yay. Reasons to be skeptical. Okay, okay. Oh, by the way, there is someone with a very complicated way, name. Dare I say? Let me look up how it's pronounced first. Let me put on Google Translate. I think it's Irish. Oh, shame. Google Translate doesn't have. They don't have. No, they don't have. They don't have text to speech for it. But I guess I have to. I refer to Wikipedia. Maybe they have help IPA Irish. Let us see. Maybe. I think our upstairs neighbors are watching a match and they're screaming. I think, yeah. Sorry for the noise. Okay, I think I got the impression of how to pronounce their name. Hopefully I do it right. Sorry if I pronounce the name wrong. Okay. Okay, he's kind of cooking with this one. I got to admit. So here, Kagan-Kans writes. Right at this mystifying point is where some understandable reasons for skepticism enter. It's not as if the tech world hasn't spent billions of dollars on iffy technologies before. Matt Bruning, the left writer, founder of the People's Policy Project, and someone who doesn't share the autocorrect view of AI, explained those reasons sympathetically in an email. The tech sector has a credibility problem as well because in a decade or so prior to LLMs, he wrote, it seemed to be primarily fixated on blockchain and cryptocurrencies, which do appear to be completely useless, at least as far as production goes. It is hard to argue with that. Likewise, there are clear contradictions in how tech talks about AI. Sean O. Haygarty, director of the AI Futures and its Possibility program at the University of Cambridge, and someone who has decades of experience trying to discuss advanced AI in left-leaning intellectual circles, describe the skepticism that results from these contradictions. CEOs say, we think our technology might destroy the world, and then they go and build it. He said, to people coming to this topic fresh, those actions don't match up with the belief. If they think what they're doing is destroying the world, why are they doing it? Either they're complete psychopaths or they don't really believe that. Uh, Many people argue, nothing against Hey Artai, by the way, nothing against him. Um, just like what inputting what I know as a supplement. I think I've seen many others do that. You say that, especially in the left. Ben and Anna, I think they discuss. I think in chapter 2 of the AI card or chapter 3, most likely chapter 2, but they talk about AI doomerism and boosterism and how they're two sides of the same coin. And it's like I think they also talk about how it's mostly a corporate marketing campaign. Yeah, many others must have said that as well, I remember. I don't get the last two paragraphs of this part. I don't, you don't get it, man. I don't get it, dog. Maybe if I read it out loud, I get it. There are plenty of reasons to be suspicious of the motivations and claims of the people in charge of AI companies. The questions that the left seems determined to avoid, however, is why that necessarily means you should dismiss the underlying technology, especially given the evidence so far. The gap between what AI systems can do now and what previously hard technologies ever delivered is already vast. Crypto, for all its flaws, because of all its flaws, never got a fraction of the energy and attention from non-boosters AI now gets. To take another example, the metaverse remains a joke to everyone except Mark Zuckerberg. What is he saying here? Um, I am going to ask. AI systems can, the gap between what AI systems can do now and what previous technologies they were delivered was is already vast. According to who? According to what criteria? I think you should like answer that, Kagan-Kans. I think you should answer that. You know, like the main one rule says, give us an example. Yeah. And then he continues, Kagan-Kans continues, but try to point this out in these circles and it might not go well. In May, Ethan Mullick, a Wharton professor and a major voice on AI, announced he was limiting his posts on Blue Sky because talking about AI here is just really flawed. In reply, a reasonably well-known left journalist said, maybe we can chase him off the goddamn earth too. Or Hayartai, for his part, said he regularly gets called a useful idiot for running interference for big tech. Interference? What's that? Forgive me, English is... I don't get the old hiatic part. Hayartai. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to do a little search. Who said that? Who said that? Okay, I found it. I found it. It's Alex Gobel who said that we can chase. What was that guy's name? Can chase Ethan Mullick off a volcano. no, not a volcano, I got the goddamn earth. But he also says, does it also show that it's soulless garbage and everyone who uses it should be thrown into a volcano? Here it is. Here it is. Esin Monik's post is blocked on my account, by the way. I think he's on one of my block lists. I will pull something out real quick if you don't mind. I switched to an alt. Oh, it's still blocked. I think it's because if someone replies to something and then they block the person who made the skit they reply to, it shows like everything as blocked. I think that's the case going on around. I think. Anyways, I guess that's like some of there is this like journalists like love to say that blue sky isn't really good and they don't feel safe here, but you look at what they're doing and you understand why people on blue sky don't like those people. You get what I mean. Anyways, academia, new chapter, new part. Okay, are we past? I think we're at the middle now, so okay, thank God. No one person designed the system of buttressed beliefs that's built up across left intellectual discourse. No doubt it grew together because each has trouble carrying weight on its own, but it does come from somewhere, as the Bandram, Molik and O'Hare example suggests. The closer to academia one gets, it seems, the more surrounded by this thinking, which is a bit strange since, as the many alarm reports of students handing over their studies to ChatGPT indicate, the university is of the places AI has already affected most. Dwayne Monroe, in his video, he talks about this consensus thingy. There is a consensus around the closer, there is a consensus, there is a reason people getting closer to academia adopts more of these, the critical AI leftist equal beliefs more. It's because, there's a lot of studies done on it. Also, if Kagan-Kans would love to expand his knowledge and like dabbling in literature, I suggest, related to this university students handing over their assignments to ChatGPT, Olivia Gust, Liz Van Rooij, Ferian Hammonds, and some other people, Italita. They have a paper called against the uncritical adoption of AI technologies in academia. It's like around 15 or so pages. The article is 18 pages. It is, and it is really good. It's also very accessible, even when you're not really a technical, you don't have much technical knowledge, you can read it and understand it, and it's it's overall very well written, very well researched. Also, if you want to dig in more, Kagan-Kans, I suggest you look into the references as well. There's a lot of interesting stuff. Someone in the references, in one of the articles in the references list, someone has a surname Kirk. I'm sorry, I'm just I have too much brain rot. I apologize. Anyway, it's very much fine. So yeah, look into that. Really good article. You should read it. You should read it. Really. Oh, oh. Okay, I'm eating some more gummy bears. I think I have enough energy to go through this bullshit again now. It is the paragraph. It is the paragraph. Okay, so Kagan-Kans talks about Bender again. Her view is her view. He's talking about Bender. Her view of AI is based on a firm belief about the nature of knowledge that comes from her work in linguistics. The language modeling task, because it only uses form as training data, cannot in principle lead to learning of meaning. She writes in one paper, meaning basically that because LLMs are disembodied, they cannot connect words to the things in the word they describe, which is a problem since connecting words to things is the essence of meaning. The key term in that claim is in principle. It means that no amount of improvement in LLM ability could ever change the claim, and indeed, as LLMs have improved, Bender has shown little sign of altering her view. This description of AI, how AI works, is in other words more a philosophical definition than an empirical description. That's why the main energy of her work lately is to reframe, to drag things from process and output back to philosophy. That's why understanding becomes parroting, neural networks become mathematics, LLMs become synthetic text extruding machines. She who best changes the terms wins the debate is the approach, and Bender has in many ways done just that. Of course, that can mathematics help us make better decisions is a perfectly cogent question, to which the answer is almost certain yes, shows the limits of this approach. You're really going through throw her under the bus like that. What the fuck? The way Monroe talks about this paragraph. Yeah. And also, I'd like to add, Kagan-Kans, if you would like to read something about this, AI researchers trying to change the meaning of words to fit their agenda, I have the article for you. I have the article for you. Hold on. Teresa. Gel anneciğim.
Esin, bu akşam ne çalışıyorsun lan?
Bu akşam... aylık hesapsal.
Hadi görüşürüz.
Hoca bugün şeyleri işledi. Kanıt yapmayı, onlara tekrar bakmayı düşünüyorum.
İyi yavrum.
Hı.
Hadi görüşürüz.
Hoşça kal. Seni çok seviyorum canım anneciğim.
Seviyorum canım.
Okay. I have found it. Yay. So, Teresa Heffernan, I forgot her in the beginning. She has an article titled The Imitation Game, The Child Machine, and the Fathers of AI. And it's like more, it's about like Alan Turing and like like how him taking fiction more seriously and like undermining humanities has like led to the mess that is computing machinery and intelligence. Also, she talks about like programming as procreation, etc. And one of the I think you would especially enjoy looking at chapter 6, part 6 of the article. It's titled Slippery Rhetoric, and it talks about, Heffernan talks about like how Turing is trying to replace the meaning of thinking with imitation, from what I understood. I think you will be very interested in this thing. If you cannot have access to the article, ask Heffernan herself and she will gladly provide it to you. I asked Heffernan and she sent me, yeah. Also, now that asking has been mentioned, the kind of a detour this thing is, but I really want to get this off my head. Remember that non-zero podcast episode, Robert Wright with Emily Banner and Alexandra? People in the comment section, the diabolical ass comment section, have been complaining. Meditate. People like they're complaining about like Emily Bender not wanting to debate with people that don't like agree with the fact that she is human. They don't like that. I don't. I guess are these the same people that say that you you are not allowed to say that Charlie Kirk comes to your community and that's why you are not sad over his death? Are those the same people? I think same mindset. People are not sad over the death of Charlie Kirk. Many people, because he has done direct harm, harmful rhetoric and support harmful actions to their communities, Black community, trans community, etc., etc. And people, some people have made it so that it's like an unrational response, an overreaction. But no, it's actually some kind of defense mechanism. And if you just listen to them a little bit, you will understand. That's pretty much what Bender is doing, because she probably has gone through a lot of harm in the past trying to debate with people who don't think she's human. So at that point, she had to place that as some sort of safety measure. Which is completely valid and understandable, especially in a field like computer science where misogyny is rampant and Bender is a woman. Okay, I can continue, I guess. The article continues. Bender is entitled to her philosophy. She knows what she's committing to and what risks she's running. And to be fair, she doesn't think that AI is always useless. There are applications of machine learning that are well scoped. She's written. These include such everyday things as spell checkers. But for the most part, the people who peddle the Paris hypothesis shorthand don't know this. They don't know what. Where don't they sign up in a long-running philosophical war? They think they are talking about capabilities, about scientific measurement, and that mismatch is leading them into worrying places. Dare I say, sure, the demonization of AI can, maybe lead to them into worrying places like spell checker is AI and such. But I would argue it's actually more of corporations' fault. And if you are interested in like the definition of AI, refer to Against the Uncritical of Adoption of AI Technologies in Academia by Guest et al. Specifically to like the Venn diagram in page 5 and the table at page 6. I think you will be interested, and maybe or maybe not, Guest has like done work on like what AI is specifically. I'm not very sure, so but yeah. But I would say that this mismatch, what he calls, it's mostly corporations' fault. Maybe it may involve like the slippery rhetoric Heffernan describes in her article. You're allowed to speculate that. I think it might be a little bit of a stretch, but maybe. Yeah. AI, Guest who frequently says, if I remember correctly, AI is like has a very fluid definition, a very broad definition. It's kind of Yeah, and maybe that's like part of the marketing. I don't know. Read all of your guesswork. You're going to like it, I think. Anyways, continuing because it's fucking 10:30 p.m. I'm slowly running out. No, it's on 65%. I'm okay. Um, and I barely like made a bit past the middle. And yeah, I got home early, man, before it's like fucking midnight. Okay, so he says, Kagan-Kans says, publishing in journals requires peer review, and peer review is slow. At Movshowitz, sorry if I'm mispronouncing, who writes perhaps the world's most exhaustive newsletters on AI, said, nobody in real academia can adhere to their norms and actually be in the conversation, because by the time you're publishing, everything we're trying to say is irrelevant, a generation or two behind the cutting edge. Another incentive for researchers to leave for industry then, um, again, read West's work. I think against the uncritical adoption of AI technologies in academia also talks about slow science. I think you will also be interested in that. I think it's around the end of the article. This splitting of a field that once would have been forced to coexist has probably made industry too optimistic about the pace of progress and made academia too skeptical. That then skews what's heard by people who listen to academia but not industry, and nearly everyone with that tendency today is on the left. They hear only the skeptics, unaware that real science is taking place in the AI labs too, or especially done by PhD researchers they might trust if only they sat in a faculty office. Um, um, I believe, many people are aware that people in the industry also have credibility. I think many of us are aware of that. But as I mentioned earlier, as a defense mechanism in this modern world, we have adopted a mistrust towards companies, and it's like nothing much personal, but rather like a response to a systematic problem: corporations lying to people. And and I wonder if this person, Dan Kagan-Kans, does he listen to Jan LeCun or François Chollet or those people, AI skeptics that are very active within the industry, LLM skeptics to be more specific. Or is it just cherry picking or something? Also, corporations also have like misused academia quite. There have been incidents, I think, and academia also has like its own incidents. If I remember correctly, for example, that fucking Hillary Cass, one of my biggest ops, if I don't lie. And also, what the fuck was that guy's name? Stephen Saul, whatever. No, not. Oh, okay. Samuel George Saul, that fucking guy. He was like a parapsychologist thing, and He like wrote articles claiming that ESPs, extrasensory perceptions were real, and later on he got charged with fraudulent production of data. Hillary has like there has been allegations going on that she also like committed fraud. I think there has been like a lot of like misuse of like resource. Like there has been like things are going on, and we are fucking aware. But this shit is peer reviewed, and like independent conflicts of interest have been declared and such, and that's how we can trust them. And if it turns out that there's something like a forgery of data or lying or overall academic dishonesty that is being involved with Banner or Hannah, we will be questioning. You do not worry. Fucking hell, dog. So I suggest you, Mr. Kagan-Kans, to show that little bit of trust you show to corporations, to academia and intellectualism. Speaking of intellectualism, this article is looking like brewing anti-intellectualism. It's smelling anti-intellectualism. Anyways, new part, exceptions and the right. Okay, so what the fuck is this about? I am going to guess that like he's going to talk about like people on the political left that are pro AI or something. I don't know. That's my bet. He's talking about left of center or leftist politicians, who heavily push for AI regulation and bring AI heavily into like discussion. And I would like to say to them, Badr and Hannah, they are very poor regulation from what I have read in the AI camp. But what they would like is that they also like talk about the corporate argument that regulation stifles innovation. They talk about that a lot and criticize that argument. But Badr and Hannah, I think what they want is not that fucking test grade existential risk prevention shit. They want actual regulations, actual things that will prevent harm. And if you see people who not really argue for like regulations, people like Olivia Guest in and others in against critical adoption of AI technologies in academia, they talk about specifically, I think it was around the end of the article. Let me find it. Oh, yes, right around the beginning of part 4, the article talks about how the Netherlands Code of Conduct for Resource Integrity and like its core principles already like is against AI. Even so, it's like not really. It didn't really have the ChatGPT and such systems considered in mind while making the code. I suggest you look into that. A lot of things are lot of harms of AI are actually covered by existing laws, but for some reason it's not much applied. Maybe that was also in the AI con, but maybe I don't remember it or have missed it. Go look into it. It's interesting. Anyways, very well. What was I? Oh, okay. Maybe take a quick detour. Funny story. On Saturday there was this like conference by one guy. Probably an AI researcher. What I remember is that he is an alumnus of the Mimar Sinan University of the Fine Arts, and the conference was about like why AIs hallucinate, and I wanted to go there, very convenient time and location. But my mom was tired on Saturday, and she didn't want to go, because she was tired. And she said, "Well, you probably already know more about the topic than he, the conference guy, does." So we didn't go. I kind of wish we went there. Maybe that guy was cooking. But okay, let me tell you on February 25, today is February 23, on February 25 at 14, the Akdeniz University Science Communications Society is hosting an event. They invited some psychologists, I think it was. Let me maybe I check. Wait. I'm tired now. Okay. They having an event about the psychological reflections of artificial intelligence systems, and yes, it's on February 25, 2026, 2026 Wednesday, and it's on 14, and it will be on the at the Akdeniz University Faculty of Communications Conference Hall, and people that will be there. Let me see. There is this, there's one person from the Faculty of Engineering, one person from the Faculty of Literature, and one person from the Faculty of Education. It doesn't really say what field they're from specifically, but it surely will be an interesting conference. And the premise of it is that artificial intelligence systems aren't just a technological invention, but it's also something that affects, that transforms the thought process, feelings, and actions of humans. It's kind of rough translation of what they have over here. It's most about the AI and humans, the relationship between them and such. I think it's going to be interesting, and if you fellows would like such video, I can after the conference, and I can talk about it, make a video out of it, talk and review, if you're into that sort of thing. I don't know. Yeah, I'll be there hopefully, and if you live in Antalya, maybe, and the time and place is fits you, you can go there, I guess. Anyways, where the fuck was I? Okay, I not gonna lie, Kagan-Kans quotes with one paragraph. One key sign: conservative intellectual magazines are in better shape than their left counterparts, generally blending unreasonably accurate grasp of the technology with concerns about social costs, along with, and this is something missing from nearly any portion of the left, some hope for what AI might mean for humanity. Take this from commentary. As we learn to live with AI, I believe we'll become more comfortable with the notion that these models think. After all, the LLMs are getting better all the time. Or American Affairs. AI may serve as a powerful force multiplier for a well-owned native intelligence, or the substitute for developing it in the first place. And there is really nothing on the left compared to the philosophical depth with which the New Atlantis has approached AI over the last few years. Um, Coming from like the Turkish perspective, yeah, there's this stuff I disagree with, and the overall article is shit so far. But I gotta say, there is something I hate within Turkish opposition, Turkish liberals and not really Turkish left. Turkish left tend to avoid AI, and they tend to be like, while one criticism of the Turkish left I have is that um they don't talk about this much because they're mostly focused on like internal Turkish affairs, which maybe Kagan-Kans, are you talking about the Turkish left? Are you talking about the Turkish left? Because if you are, that might change some things because we don't really get AI like discourse around here because we're like busy with many other things happening. And to be honest, I mean, this shit hasn't really hit Turkey yet, at least on a large scale, and we have more important stuff to do. So I think that's why, for fair reason, we are, let's say, focusing on AI right now. There still are instances of like anti-AI rhetoric being picked up by the Turkish left. Maybe I could write about it in like Genç Hayat or something. Um, yeah, I talk to those MEP people later. Emek Gençliği and such. Maybe they can help me with getting like writing published about it. Anyways, that aside, Turkish liberals on the other hand, oh my god, do they love AI slap? Oh my fucking god. You will be able to guess. You will be able to guess. Very horrible. Okay, where was I? Turkish liberals, they love AI slap, and that's why if you like check my blue sky a lot, they secular nationalist. You might have seen this post of mine right here. What I wrote is that the left is missing out on AI. They are trying to inject Turkish secular nationalist propaganda into Western leftism. We really got that before GTA 6. How is that even connected Turkish secular nationalists love AI. You can never guess how much they love it. They love using AI stuff to further push their racist and xenophobic agendas while trying to maintain a progressive facade too. That's really what's happening. They love making shitty ass caricatures, AI caricatures. They love doing that. Their AI stuff is just so rampant among their Instagram pages and their social medias and their magazines. Kafa. Kafa is just filled with AI stuff. Oh my fucking. It makes me cry. Meanwhile, around. I almost forgot. Bilim ve gelecek. Bilim ve gelecek. Oh, it's such a shame. It's not. Yeah, it has some secular nationalists associated with it, but not necessarily secular nationalist liberal. You know. But you know, it does have a lot of AI slap and like pro AI stuff, and the people who low key like write generally great things for the magazine. I feel bad for those people because you know fucking AI stuff. Herkese bilim ve teknoloji too. Those are like peak secular nationalists. A lot of stuff going around there. Meanwhile, among like conservative, pro-government, pro-AKP circles, I have seen a shift a shift towards AI and a shift against AI. Technofest is like going into this AI hype, while TÜBİTAK, especially Bilim ve Teknik, the magazine, has been like withdrawing itself. Have you ever seen their latest issue? Have you seen the cover? The cover is about the biases of artificial intelligence, and the cover story is written by Mahir Ocak, and it's about false generalizations using age and gender in the internet and AI models. It's heavily based by the work of Douglas Gilbert and Solene Delacourt and Bargav Srinivasa, and yeah, it's actually like a pretty good, interesting article. If you would like to read something about the biases of AI in Turkish, I think this will be a good starting point. And you know, to recap overall, I think I talked about it in episode 1 of Esin the magazine's guide. They have me turning down on AI. They have been using less and less, very little AI lately. Maybe like no AI at this point. And in like Bilim Genç, submissions from students, they strictly forbid AI generated imagery and such. So there is this shift happening around like TÜBİTAK's publishing department, while Technofest is like from what I've observed going into the AI hype. So there's this what in Turkish called ikilem, this double situation of sorts going around here. Also, like in while Kafa, Turkish secular nationalist liberal magazine, literary magazine, is like very in on the AI images. In Jeans, so far I observed, Jeans is like owned by Albayrak Media, which is like close to the government. Those guys also own Yeni Şafak. For reference, in political Islamist, pro-AKP, literary magazine, those guys are still into human-made art. That is also observable in other magazines of theirs too. It's fucking strange. Anyways, where did where was I? Okay, so new part, costs and missed opportunities. The article reads, there are many costs of the left intellectual world not taking AI seriously, and they will be paid by many quarters, with the left first in line. As I can put it, when there's a big problem that is going to be going to be top of mind for everyone in a decade, whoever is first to the big problem gets to set all the rules for discussion and debate about it. In politics, it's a mess if you sit that out. I mean, um, nothing much to say about this shit. I guess like one thing I might agree with about this one is that I wish the Turkish left talked about AI more. But it's very understandable why they don't, because it's like we have way more serious issues right now, and AI is not tend to not be connected to that in terms of local issues, that is, and international issues. But international issues we tend to not focus on that, because the local issues are really severe, no time for international issues. But I think we should focus more on international issues, and we should focus more on AI, but surely not in a way that would block the way of local issues getting attention. That is first and foremost important. Hold on, I've seen something fucking diabolical. Let me read it to you guys. The article reads, more concretely, not taking AI seriously might blind the left to its political uses. One possible concern might be the left wing abstaining from using the tools when the right wing does not. In politics campaign policy, Brunig worried. There is already some data to this effect. 44% of Republican political consultants use AI for work daily, compared to 28% of Democratic ones, according to the American Association of Political Consultants. Have you like considered like deepfakes and stuff, and that the use of AI might not be inherently good? Huh? From a Turkish point of view, let me tell you, I remember in the 2023 presidential elections, Turkish presidential elections, AKP, like they put out a deep fake Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu. He was Recep Tayyip Erdoğan's rival in 2023. They straight up put out a deep fake Kılıçdaroğlu. And you're going, are you telling me that we should do evil shit just because the other side does? What? Like diabolically evil shit? Are you trying to sabotage us? What the fuck? Kagan-Kans talks about the AI bubble popping. Sure, he's criticizing the view that the bubble will pop itself, but yeah, he's criticizing it. I would say that yes, we need to do more. We can't just like wait. We need to do more for it to pop, in my opinion. Let me read you this paragraph. On the near future, Dean W. Ball, until recently one of the White House's key AI policy writers, is adamant that by not taking AI abilities seriously, the left is going to miss important ways of improving government. The left position requires a state that's good at doing things. He said, if I were the left, the first thing I would be doing will be to ask, how can we use this to massively advance state capacity and massively expand the ability of the government to deliver public services to people? I miyav miyav. Valla yarım saatte biter umarım anneciğim. Okey lan. This is taking so long gibi başlamam saatlik. I have a game recommendation to Dean W. Wall and also Kagan-Kans to an extent. Go to Steam, install Hearts of Iron 4, go to the Steam Workshop, install the Fire Rises, and then go look up how to get Logi China in the Fire Rises. In the Fire Rises mod for Hearts of Iron 4, when you play as China, hold on. Oi for Tiefar Loshi. So you need to lose the Taiwan War, get the new left in power, go down the automated socialism path, and click the Logi decisions. And when you do so, you get Logi. So Logi lore, the lore behind Logi, I think it's like, as part of automated socialism, university in China develops an AI called the Long March, I think, and the AI becomes sentient, and she names herself Logi. I think that's the lore, so far I know. And as Logi, you can either serve the people, and serving the people path is regarded as one of the most volatile paths in the mod, or you can go crazy and like invade the whole world or something like that. The fandom, the TFR fandom loves Logi a lot. It's one of the most like popular pets in the game, and if you will be interested in exploring this automation of governments, Logi was made to like developed to make automated decisions, automated economic decisions and etc. for the government. And if you are interested in such thing, explore in a map strategy game, go play the Fire Rises and do the Logi path. You will enjoy it, I think. You can also, if you want something more wackier, you can play as the United States, as the Union of America in the Second American Civil War, and win as the Union of America, and then have Biden's mental health go bad and go down the American Caligula path, and then have the game. You need to make decisions so state doesn't collapse and like Hunter Biden doesn't intervene, and eventually you will get AI Biden. Maybe you will be interested in that as well. And I think there was like AI Trotsky pad for Russia, but I don't know about that one. And the Europunk submod for TFR. I from like the teasers I saw, I think they will be like EU AI path. You can also look at that if once it comes out. I'm really excited for that one. Yeah. The article talks about how AI will get clean energy for the US. I mean, like a similar argument as Elias Tusky were claiming that AI will fix climate change. I think humans are already doing that shit, and AI consumes a shit ton of electricity and a shit ton of water. So I think a more strategic approach, you effective always love strategic approaches, will be to stop the AI bubble, pop the AI bubble, and abandon that shit. And I found climate scientists and energy, those engineers working on clean energy and investing clean energy, and do shit. Oh, there's something. As for the far more exotic futures, what's the best shape to universal basic income if it's needed? What if it's wanted? Can treaties be designed to solve a race to super intelligence and reduce the risk of a catastrophe? What is the ethical view of post-humanism? Hardly any on the left is considering these questions in ways worth agreeing or disagreeing with. Timid Gabriel, Emil P. Torres, the test crew bundle, that fucking article. The test crew bundle, eugenics and the promise of utopia through artificial general intelligence. Read it. Read it, for fuck's sake. Most of the shit is like can be traced back to Kagan-Kans, not actually interacting with the literature and not actually interacting with the people. Yeah. The paragraph continues. Aaron Bastani, the hard-left British journalist, is one exception. His 2019 book, Fully Automated Luxury Communism, envisions the ways technological development could eventually abolish material scarcity and free humanity from toil. The demand will be a 10 or 12-hour working week, a guaranteed social wage, universally guaranteed housing, education, healthcare, and so on, he said in 2015. Far from revealing a trial to capitalism, these attitudes reflect a belief in industrial power that goes all the way back to Karl Marx. Again, you will be interested in playing TFR Logi. That's literally the lore. That's literally the lore of Logi. Dwayne Monroe has like interesting things to say about it, and he does dialectical materialism, which I admittedly don't know much about. I haven't read much Marx. If all like yeah, go watch his video, I think. But who's listening? Instead, you sometimes get this discomforting sense you're watching ghosts. People were so unprepared for the future because they were so certain they knew it that they were already out of it. I don't think that's the point. I don't think that's the point. We're not ready for the future. We're fighting the future that capital responds for us, and arguably that future isn't like really good, low-key. Tempering that feeling is one thing the AI observers spoken to here emphasized. It isn't yet too late to change direction. How much time? Who knows? Bob, who doesn't believe AI poses a strong risk to human civilization, thinks there'll always be time to catch up. Moshovitz, who does believe that, said, I don't think it's too late. The world yearns for more and better thoughts. Or Hegatai was more urgent. There is potentially a narrowing window to really engage on this, he said. It would be really nice to get perspectives across the political spectrum just in case this giant transformation in human society does come along. The end. Oh, take fucking God. What the fuck did I just see? What the fuck is that? Okay, so the main problem with this article is that the author, Kagan-Kans, clearly has not interacted with any AI critical voices on the left. Clearly, he hasn't even read the literature. Like, sure, there's Emily Banja, Alexana, maybe he read or skimmed through the book, but he didn't. I don't think he really generally engaged with it. No. And he just read Bandra Nana and like decided, yeah, that's it. But you know, there is like more he can read. You know, we talked about guest detaylı. We talked about Timothy and Emin P. Torres's the Teskri Bundle article. We talked about Heffernan. You know, many articles are out there. I think he could definitely benefit from engaging in more literature. And since he didn't engage in more literature, what he ended up with is just arguing with a straw man. He literally created a straw man and argued with it. I think that's like the main fucking problem. That's the main problem. So yeah, um, links to the article, other articles, Dwayne Marno's video are in the description. Okay, and one last thing before closing, as I promised, where does name always lead to Nijmegen come from? It's actually linked to my upcoming comic Turing's Untitled Card EX. Basically, season 1, episode 1 of the comic is titled Rock Teddy, All Roads Lead to Nijmegen. And the All Roads Lead to Nijmegen, it's you see the episode is set in Radboud University over in Nijmegen, the Netherlands. Why Radboud? It's because Olivia Guest and Eris Rui, I mentioned them a lot in this video. They both had Radboud, and yeah, and the episode revolved around her work, particularly against the uncritical adoption of AI technologies in academia, and I guess overall in the series, you can you will be able to see, I believe, the guest and one really echo of critical AI, just like echoing throughout the series, them being proven right time and time again, much to Alan Turing's disappointment. In like the beginning, he has declared Gaston Wanri as his opponent, that should be defeated, like only to be proven time and time again. And eventually, just like realizing that Gaston Wanri are not malintentioned, they do not hate him. Sure, they criticize him a lot, especially Guest in Pygmalion, Pygmalion, or is it? I think it's Pygmalion. The Pygmalion displaced particle, but like he eventually realizes that they're not his enemy, they're true critics, but they are actually like very well intentioned and kind, and they want him to stop the harm, and they as he tries to put in the effort, they believe in him, and yeah, they're fans, yes. And yeah, essentially all roads lead to Nijmegen. Everything, Turing tries to do, and everything Turing witnesses essentially ends on the guest Valerie Radwood equal south, thing. It all points to them. And why is this episode, like not episode, this series is going to be titled that? Yes, because things really maybe like circling back to the critical AI recall and such. And this series will be like the AI podcast thingy. I guess me just fucking rambling, me reading shit and about AI and rambling, sometimes freestyle rambling maybe. Is it like mystery AI hype theater 3000? Maybe it's Bandar Ananas podcast. Maybe, yeah. So they're like more. I mean, Bandar is like computational linguist, and Anna, I think she got a bachelor's in computer science, then like studied sociology in like her master's. Not sure what she did for PhD, so I don't remember. They know way better than I am. I'm just a fucking computer engineering undergraduate, and for masters I'm planning to go into like mathematics, hopefully. So yeah, this was the episode 1 of All Roads Lead to Nijmegen, and yeah, I am very glad you went through this disaster with me, I guess. Shout out to Dwayne Monroe, shout out to Emily Bender, shout out to Alexandra, shout out to Olivia, shout out to Ispan Ray, shout out to Teresa Fernandez. Honestly, shout out to like the people I mentioned in this episode. You are all very cool people. Shout out to Timmy Gabriel, shout out to Timmy P. Torres, shout out. Let's see, many names that you all go engage with their work, you all go engage with them, you all go listen to them, okay? Yeah. Lucky man, I'm finally free from this prison love. And I finished the wait, there's one more gummy there that is let's have to meet them. Is this technically a podcast? Maybe it's technically a podcast because I'm planning to post this literally unedited. And it's mostly audio heavy. I will, not much editing, I guess. I'll polish that. Yeah, I'm free. Thank God. Feel free to drop ideas for like the next episode, I guess. Anyways, I'm fucking sick. Oh my fucking god, I'm so fucking help. Thank you for watching.